Quite often beginner photographers are struggling with the many different camera modes. Therefore I made a video explaining the most common ones. Automatic mode. This is most likely the go-to mode for new photographers. Your camera will choose all the settings like shutter speed, ISO, aperture and white balance to get a well-exposed image. But your camera doesn't know if you're shooting, for example, a portrait, macro or something else, so the settings may not always be the best for the situation. Portrait mode. If you're shooting in portrait mode, your DSLR will select a large aperture which will give you a narrow depth of field. The main subject, for example head and shoulders of the person you are photographing, will be sharp while the background will be out of focus. Macro mode. Generally speaking, the macro mode will let you move closer to the subject you are shooting. Like in portrait mode, you will get a shallow depth of field to bring out your main subject. For real close-up, good-looking macro shots, you will want to buy a specialized macro lens though. Landscape mode. Unlike portrait or macro mode, this one will use a small aperture so that as much of your image will be in focus, from foreground to the background. Sports mode. The sports mode will use high shutter speeds, so you're able to take sharp images of objects in motion. So it's not only useful for sport activities, you could also, for example, use it to get pictures of fast-moving animals. Aperture priority. This mode lets you choose your preferred aperture. Your camera will then set the other settings like shutter speed and ISO to get a balanced exposure. Shutter priority. This one kind of works in the same way, only that you choose the preferred shutter speed, while the camera will set aperture and ISO automatically. Manual mode. This mode gives you full control over the camera settings. You have to make sure your image will be well exposed while set shutter speed, ISO and aperture yourself. Thank you for watching my video. If this video was helpful, feel free to subscribe to my channel.